interview in an English-speaking company or in an English-speaking country, a lot of the times they're looking for you to be specific and precise. So it is good to practice beforehand, which is why we're practicing specifically. A lot of companies are looking for specific things, and sometimes they will even say specifically what they're looking for in an applicant for specific jobs. With all that in mind, a lot of the times English companies, they want you to give them only the information they need and nothing else. So you want to try to do your best to be like quick, concise, give them the information they need, and like keep it at that. A lot of the times oversharing may make people wary to hire you. I'm just letting you know that. That's like something that as an English speaker, I've been trained as well. I took a hiring class, and they make it very clear you don't want to overshare. You just want to give them the information they need about you as a possible employee. All right, with that in mind, how this works is I will ask a question to someone in the voice box, and from there they'll have the chance to answer, and we'll keep going along that. I will call your name before I tell you the question so you're prepared, at least a little. But I'm going to kind of give the interview questions without explaining what they are. And then once that is complete, we'll go over advice for how to usually answer that question or what employers might be looking for from that question. All right, to start us off, Mahi, where do you see yourself?
Well, I want to see I see myself as one of the best employee or something like that. I don't know.
That's okay, we'll get back to you. All right, Shriji, where do you see yourself? Shriji. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to make sure this voice box is open to people who are going to actively participate. I'm sorry. All right. Ahmed, where do you see yourself?
Okay, like right now or in the
This is
future.
we're practicing mock interviews, so how would you answer an interviewer who asked you, "Where do you see yourself?"
Okay, I would be seeing myself in the company like in higher position. Yeah.
Okay. Reem, where do you see yourself?
I see myself as a manager who help his team and lovely and friendly for people.
All right, okay. Asmi, where do you see yourself?
Hello, I will be a good researcher in the future and want to participate in many research and try to help other companies and other researchers to make progress in the field.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Diego, where do you see yourself?
Well, I see myself doing my best in this company. In it doesn't matter what position, where, where is the, what is the position. I mean, I'm just seeing myself doing my best and trying to improve every day.
All right. Ayamin, where do you see yourself?
Well, thank you. Actually, I want to see myself to completing my graduation and in a position that I'm successful and then building a strong career in my field and make myself that, yeah, right now I'm always trying to, what can I say that I'm maintaining discipline and I help other people who are living around of me. So that's it.
All right. Lover, where do you see yourself? Lover, if I have, are you there? Can anyone else hear them or? Are they not talking? Mahi, are they saying anything?
Not really.
All right, I'm sorry. You gotta come out from the voice box. I've gotta leave space for those who are going to actively participate just because this is more of a serious lesson. Sorry. All right. Rashidul, where do you see yourself? And remember, this is like in regards to an interview, so how would you answer someone giving an interview? Oh, okay. Rihanna,
Yeah,
where would you see yourself?
I see myself as the best matched candidate for this position because I think I have the enough experience for this position as you required. I'm good at communication, and I'm good at some specific ability that you required. So I think I match this requirement of this position.
All right, thank you for your answer. So, like we did, we kind of ran through it and we answered the question. The reason I bring it up is we're just practicing. This is just for practice for people who are genuinely interested in working at an English company. So when an English employer asks you the question, where do you see yourself? They're looking to see where do you see yourself within the company and how are you like moving within your role. For example, if I was asked, where do you see yourself? I might answer, I aim to lead a design team and streamline our current processes to make them faster and more efficient. Your work environment appeals to me and would grow my abilities as a current manager. Things along that lines. You're giving them an idea of where you see yourself fitting into the company and how you yourself would be aligned with the company's like needs or goals or work environment. That is what they're specifically asking about when they ask that question. All right. The next question we're going to I'm going to give you guys the information about this one beforehand. We're going to do that a little bit differently. I'm going to do some where I don't specify what an employer would ask you about this for, and then I'm going to do others where I specifically tell you what they're looking for beforehand, just because we're going to try out different practice styles, because sometimes you might hear a question that you don't know, so it's just good to have practice for those questions as well. So this next one, this question specifically is asking you to tie this question to your role. They're not asking generally, they're asking specifically about the role. They don't say that, but that is what they mean. And that question is, what are your goals for the future? So, example, you might say, I want to increase my expertise in is a great field, as a great term, improve not only my skills, but learn more knowledge and perhaps also share some of my own knowledge with your company. Things of that nature. All right. Mahi, what are your goals for the future? And you can just pretend this is any job relating to whatever field you actually are pursuing, just as if you were actually in a job interview. So, Mahi, what are your goals for the future?
As a fashion manager, I want to improve my skill set, and my long-term goal is to do something which will make a huge impact in this industry, and I want to do my best as as someone of that position.
All right, good answer. All right. Ahmed, what are your goals for the future?
Okay, as a customer service representative, my goals is to manage a team like a big amount of team members and help him with my experience to make the customer expertise more more easier than usual.
All right,
So
thank
yeah.
you. All right. Reem, what are your goals for the future?
As a public health specialist, my goal to the future is to help people and apply my skills and qualification on the earth, the humanitarian goals.
All right, all right. Azmi, what are your goals for the future?
I'm gonna use my experience, my previous experience in this field, and also try to connect with other people. Well-known professors, and learn from them and add their knowledge in this field, and maybe mix them and try to make creativity and yeah, for improve this field.
All right, all right. Sorry. Diego, what are your goals for the future?
Well, like I just said, my goals are to become an a leader and to be able to help the new members or to other people who doesn't know the work or job to 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 get better at it.
Okay. Rihanna, what are your goals for the future?
Thanks for your question. Yeah, my goals for the future is that, first of all, I hope that I can use my experience, use my expertise to support, to do this job where um, and can be got and can got the recognized by the company. The second of all is that I hope that I can manage my team as one leader, to support the sales growth, the sales growth for the company. The third one, the third of the third one is that I hope I can learn more new skills and new knowledges from the company, and I hope that I can grow up uh, together with the company. That's all.
All right. Marco, if you were talking to an interview and they asked this question, how would you respond? What are your goals for the future?
Well, thank you. I think that my goal will be to strengthen my role leadership in our business, which is how I'm working right now. Also, want to set up some competitive goals in order to expand the competitive position of the company and also to be able to strengthen my abilities in foreign commerce and leadership in my commercial team.
Awesome, that was a great answer. All right, I'm going to move on to another question. Hope everyone is doing all right so far. Hope this is easy to follow at the very least.
Sorry, may I ask you a question?
Okay.
Uh, what is the difference between the first question and the second one? Because I don't know, I can't understand what is the difference between these two questions. Both my answers were similar because I couldn't distinguish these two questions.
It's because they're looking for specific answers. That's kind of where it is. When they ask you about your goals for the future, they're talking specifically about your goals in the future of the company. So they're trying to see where you see yourself within the role. And then the other question, of course, being like, where do you see yourself? It's just saying, where do you see yourself in terms of a role? That's the difference. It's like one you're aligning with the other one you're like aligning with the company, so you're telling them that your goals align with what they want from you. So you're kind of saying we both want the same thing. That's kind of what it's like. That's what they're saying with where do you see yourself? They're saying I see myself doing exactly what this job is asking me to do. And then what are your goals for the future specifically is like when you are at this company, what should we expect from you in terms of, for example, what skills are you pursuing to improve upon while you're here, and what skills do you already have to offer?
Oh, got it. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I'm gonna move on. This one is actually pretty straightforward. You just want to give a good and honest answer to this if you can, because I'm sure it's like with how work is, it's like you've always had an incident like this. Okay. Mahi, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
Yes, we had a project that we had to finish within 2 days, and two of our group members were missing at the time. I don't know where they were, and I and my fellow project people had to finish that in time, and it was quite hard, but I finished it, and we did our best, and yep, and
All right.
we became successful.
Awesome. Okay. Ahmed, same question. Can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
Okay, so usually in my current role, I responsible for make sure that we are deliver all the queues and tasks that we receive from the client at time. So we are having like four tasks we should deliver at time, and we were 1 day behind the due date. So and we were having like a small capacity that can cover this. So I overcome this situation by offer on the employees that they can sit an overtime so they can finish their tasks like on time, so we can have the deliver on time. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Reem, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
The difficult situation when we go to the area without electricity and internet, so we use available resource by paper, and after we return from the field, we use the network and electricity to send the report and write again the things in the form. We can
Okay.
adapt on all situations. Yeah.
All right. As me, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
I remember a few years ago we worked on a project, but we couldn't, and we need some materials, but the price was high, and budget deficiency didn't let us to buy them. So I decided to connect with other companies and ask them to give us those materials, and instead I helped them to learn some softwares. So without paying money, I teach them how they use, how they work with some software programs, and they give me those materials.
Awesome. Thank you. Rihanna, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
Yes, thanks for your question. Yeah, I remember that I had one project before. Yeah, which was very impressive project because I made some difficulties, but I got it successfully. Yeah, because yeah, one of our a team's member was sick, so I need to overcome this problem in such a very tight deadline. Yeah, I um I told my line manager the situation, and then I gave him one plan that I need to to plan for this project again for our team member. Yeah, and in a very short time, and then we did it in a very tight deadline. Yeah, like that.
Okay, good answer. Okay. Ayub, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it? And pretend I'm just like a job interviewer for a job you'd actually get. So if you want to use like actual details from whatever field you're in, that's perfectly fine.
I'm actually a student, but when we were working on a school project, I remember I've got a difficulty in doing that. It was about 4 years before. I mean, when AI was being developed, and when we were working on a computer website, an app that solves a problem in our school. We had a difficulty in solving a problem we didn't know, so it was the days in which AI was being created. So we some people advised us to you why don't you use AI to help you, and then we give the prompt and give us the code to solve our problem, and when we put it in the code, we were able to solve the problem. So that's one difficult situation, and I solved this.
That was a great answer. All right. And that is the thing, is if you are in school, you can use like experiences from schooling to answer a question related to a career field. All right, Sidra. Again, we're practicing interviews, so I'm asking this as if I was someone interviewing you for a job you would be interested in at an English-speaking company. Can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
Okay, I am pharmacist, and one day I think I make um, a mistake by uh, change the medication of the patient by with different tone, because the covering or the appearance of two medication are similar. So I prescribe the wrong one to the patient, but the manager um, remind me or tell me. Then I spoke to the patient and tell him uh, about my mistake, and after that I fixed the problem.
Awesome. Okay. Um, all right. Marco, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it?
Thank you. At my current job, we concentrate our orange export to one single country, and we depend on just one client, which made the business unprofitable, even though we value a lot of the volume that we export. So I exchanged this by prospecting potential clients from other countries, especially from Center of America, finding some new potential clients that were purchasing fruit from our country. I analyzed the prices, analyzed the volume that they were purchasing from our country, and make the deal. I solved a new client, and right now we are starting a new commercial relationship with them.
That's a fantastic answer. And I'm actually gonna kind of like focus on Marco's answer and Mahi's answers and Eob's answers specifically, because there's this one important part. When someone asks you in an interview, can you tell me about a difficult situation and how you overcame it? They're specifically looking for what you say when you say how it was handled. They're looking for, okay, how do you react when you're in a situation that requires you to either be creative, be fast, or work really well under like sudden and unexpected pressure. That's what they're looking for. It's like, how do you problem solve problems that are not usually part of your job but have become part of your job unexpectedly? That's what they're looking for an answer to. So the important part, no matter what kind of problem you tell them about, is the way it was solved was something that you handled and you handled well. That's what they're looking for. All right. Any questions before we move on?
Sorry, I have a question. So the situation that I mentioned was not the things that interviewer is seeking for. Yes, I mean my
I
answer.
will I will be blunt. Telling them that the only reason that situation was resolved was because your manager caught it would be quite alarming to someone working in the medical field. Mistakes happen, yes, but it would kind of make someone a bit concerned when they're asking you kind of like the question of like a problem happened and how did you solve it. You mentioned specifically that your manager was the one who actually ended up solving the problem, which doesn't work in your favor when you're trying to be the person getting hired.
Mm, I didn't get, sorry. You mean my answer is like it's not me that solved the problem. It's my manager who
Yep,
solved the problem.
exactly.
Oh,
So when
got
you're
it.
going to a job interview and trying to convince them to hire you, you want to make yourself look as good as you possibly can.
Mhm. Thank you.
Of course. All right. Gita, you asked, can you give an example situation? All right. Let's give a good example. Okay, let's say for example, I'll do one that works pretty well for California. We have a lot of people who work on ranches and work with cattle and horses. So that's the situation I'm going to give in now. So it'd be I'm getting interviewed to work with horses. And someone asks, okay, can you tell me about a difficult work situation and how you overcame it? All right, we were out, we were taking care of the horses, and still have no explanation how it happened, but some of them got loose. Immediately, I called and let everyone know we had loose horses, where they were seen last. We had people immediately checking the areas that would be most dangerous for them to be in. And then we all went out and looked in separate locations until all were found. All were found safely, and because we moved fast, we had them all found within half an hour. So you're kind of showing, okay, how did you react? Like if you can mention like how fast the situation would be dealt with, that would probably also work in your favor. So it's like you're wanting to show that you can handle that sort of pressure or sudden stress. Mahi, you want to go again? Your mic's off. You can answer, so you're good. Go for it.
Hello, can you hear?
Yes.
All right. So we had a difficult situation. Like we had to organize an event, and the budget was quite low, and I was like I was leading the event, so I had to come up with something. And what I did was I um, contacted some uh, other companies to like sponsor us, and they did, and we we were successful to do that event without like thinking of our budget. That's it.
All right. All right. We're gonna move on to the next question unless anyone has any questions themselves. Also, hi, Mike. And hi, Gita. Lovely to see you guys. All right. With that in mind, I'm going to do another one. So now we're going to move on to another question, which is how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview? So, Mahi, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview?
Mm, I might think of the bright side of the interview instead of like rushing myself or um, taking it roughly, and think of and be calm and just focus on being genuine and answer it thoroughly and what they're looking for.
Awesome. Okay. Reem, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview?
I try to remember myself, if my shortlisted and come to this interview, that means my skills and qualified. It is similar to this job, so I can do that. But honestly, I can't handle my stress during the interview. I'm being so afraid.
All right. Azmi, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview?
I think stress and pressure is mostly from our thought and the way that we think if the manager accept us or our answer is good or not. So before that, I try to search about the company and learn about the company and also maybe connect with the people in that company and learn from them, and that way decrease my stress by being more familiar with the company and the work that they are doing there. Yeah.
All right. Ayab, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview?
So I would probably take a deep breath and think only about the interview, and I would clear all those negative ideas about what the interview would get me, or if it's bad or not good. I would clear them all. I would only see the prospects of being it good, and what I would do is that take a deep breath, and before the interview, I would kind of search about the interview. I mean, what I should expect from this interview. What kind of questions are common, and all of that, as many of the my friends said, and after that, I would only look at and think about the questions, not the person who's asking me the questions, or maybe any something else. Only I would focus on the questions and the job interview, nothing else. I would clear my mind out, or before I get into the job interview, I would only think about a single word, maybe relax. I would say the word relax again and again before the job interview to clear my mind. That's what I would do.
All right. Sidra, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview? Sidra? Ayab, can you hear Sidra or am I going crazy?
No, I can.
Okay. All right, Marco, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview?
Well, first of all, I try to breathe. Second, I try to stay calm. And then I try to listen carefully about the questions. Meanwhile, the meeting, I try to sit back, to listen carefully, and to try to respond, making eye contact directly. So, meanwhile, I'm listening the question, I'm trying to make a good response, trying to act also calmly, and I think there is not just a correct answer, but I think that to making a good answer will be to express freely and calmly what do you think and how you can solve the problem or the question that is asking.
All right. Parames, we're practicing interviews, so it's kind of like talk to me how you would interviewing for a job within your field. So, Parames, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview? Iyab, is this happening again or am I... Okay, never mind. That answers that question. Sons, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview?
Hi, as for me, I think the best way is to equip yourself with as much knowledge and facts as can about the job and the company, like being told by Esme. And then I think the best way is just reply them calmly, don't overthink, just be genuine and reply them. Yeah, that's all.
That's a good answer as well. So when people ask the question, how do you handle stress and pressure during an interview? They're usually looking for how you handle pressure. So your response is kind of how they gauge, okay, when you're under pressure during your job, how is that something you're going to react to? Also, for those who might be wondering what the difference between this question is and the previous question of a difficult situation, the difficult situation question is about problem solving. The interview question is how you handle stress during problem solving, or just handling stress in general, because things can be stressful even if there's no true problem. Any questions before we move on? We're going to do one more and then I'm going to be answering questions. All right. Last question. How do you handle conflict in the workplace? Mahi.
In the workplace, I believe we can handle conflicts by being real to the work instead of being like, we gotta be professional instead of being friendly or something, and just focus on our tasks instead of like focusing on our relationship with, yeah, relationship does matter with the members or crew, but we gotta be professional, and that's the way we can avoid conflicts.
All right. Reem, how do you handle conflict in the workplace?
I try to be calm and go through the systems and rules on the company to handle the situation without being personal. I'm just remember myself is this a college person, and that is all things about work, nothing personal. So I go through the rules in company.
All right. Azmi, how do you handle conflict in the workplace?
Um, I at first I tried to find what is that conflict is over. I mean, what make us to not be that friend, and then try to solve it. And if it was difficult, I try to at least invite each other for 15 minutes to drink a tea and make that pressure between the colleagues less than before, by a casual chat about the situation that was happened in friendly way.
All right, Eob, how do you handle conflict in the workplace?
Well, I think of it in two ways. First, if the conflict is between me and somebody else, or if the conflict is between two people who does not include me. And the first one, I first look at the rules that the organization is following. So, if people are not doing things by the book, I would say to them that you should do this, and we should not, dispute about this. So we have to, if the conflict is about something that is disturbing the way that the organization is following, I would say that we have to follow the rules and we should not dispute. If two peoples are in conflict, I would first listen to each one's reasons for being in a conflict and think about how I would solve that. And after I get the reason why these people are getting into this, I would consult people and the rules. It's mostly based on the rules that the organization is following. So, I would look at the rule. I would then, get a solution, and after that, I would make these people, reconcile. And that's what I would do. If normally I'm not that kind of a person who is in jobs, but I'm a student. But I think this would handle the problem.
Okay. Marco, how do you handle conflict in the workplace?
Well, first of all, I will address it directly, focusing on the issue rather than the people. Then I will talk with my team, with my colleagues, and try to figure out a common solution for the problem. And finally, with the conclusion that we all the team involved made, try to solve it as fast as we can.
Okay. Good answer. Duns, how do you handle conflict in the workplace?
I will try to collect as much resources as possible and will try multiple holistic approach to solve the conflict. If I'm still not able to do, I will seek advice or help from my team or manager to have a discussion to solve it together.
All right.
Yes.
So the question, how do you handle conflict in the workplace, is pretty straightforward. A lot of the times they're just looking to see, like, can you stay mature in this kind of environment if there is tension or conflict of some degree. If I were to give an example, like, for an answer to this question. So it's like, if an interviewer asked me, how do you handle conflict in the workplace, my response would be, I would do my best to not only maintain professionalism, but safety for myself and all of my coworkers. If this is a matter that is of a more sensitive nature, I would absolutely immediately contact the parts of the company that would need to be contacted, such as HR. If this is a more complex issue that is more problem-based than actual conflict between coworkers, I would work with the necessary parties to solve that conflict. A lot of the times these questions are kind of just looking for different quality traits you have as an employee. You're looking to show these questions, a lot of the times, even if they sound straightforward, they're looking for your answer for perhaps things such as responsibility. How responsible are you? Professionalism. How professional are you? Like we went over again. Stress. How well do you handle stress? Pressure. How do you handle pressure? How do you act under pressure? Problem solving. Can you solve problems quickly? Do you work fast on your feet, or do you take more time to process things? Neither is bad, but they want to understand if your skill set and how you react in certain situations that come with working at a company fits what the employers are looking for, because not every employer will be looking for the same thing in an employee. So they are looking for specific traits. And it doesn't necessarily mean the traits you have are bad, but again, these companies are looking for the best fit for their company. So a lot of the times, if a company hires you or not doesn't necessarily reflect on you as a person. It reflects whether or not you fit what the company believes they need for the role they are hiring for. And especially with companies that are English speaking, a lot of questions will sound very casual, and they can have casual answers, but a lot of the time they're trying to see exactly how you would work under different conditions and how you work as a person in a professional environment. That's what they're really looking for. So it's like keeping it in mind. These questions are always going to be company based, even if it's not necessarily specified within the question. They're not looking for your life story. Not to say that's bad. It's just kind of like, this is getting hired for a job. They're going to be asking questions and seeing how you answer in relationship to having a job. With that in mind, like, I'm just going to take some questions and then I'm going to bed, because I do have college tomorrow, so I do need to go to sleep at a reasonable time, and it is about to be 11:30 at night for me, so I do need to head to bed soon.
I've been thinking of, like, should I answer this conflict, like answer the conflict thing, in, like, regarding the conflict with my other colleagues or like my clients. I was thinking
They're
about
being
it.
it's generalized for a reason. That's purposeful. They don't specify that on purpose. It's conflict in general, because again, they're seeing how you react to conflict regardless, because you can have conflict with fellow employees, and you can have conflict with customers, and you might even have conflict with upper management if something goes wrong and you bear the brunt of one of their mistakes. So they're looking for how you handle conflict in general, not necessarily where the conflict comes from, because regardless of, like, where you're having conflict at the end of the day, they're just looking for how you would respond to that in general. I hope that answers your question. All right. with that, I will be heading to bed. It was lovely getting to spend some time with y'all and great to see some
Good
familiar
night.
faces. It was great to see you again, Mahi. Hope your day is going well.
Yes.
As well as Fiona, lovely to see you as well. Seeing some really familiar faces. Mike, good to see you. Gita, good to see you. It's really lovely to see some people like again. Casey is here too. That's great. That's lovely. All right. With that, I will be going to bed. It was great spending time with you guys. I hope you could have learned something.
Okay, thanks, Han.
Yep, have a good rest of your night.
Okay,
Good night.
thank you. Good night.